Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's session. Today we will go for February-March 2026, paper 6, variant 2. Let's go. Question 1. A student used electrolysis to electroplate a zinc rod with silver. The student used the apparatus shown in figure 1.1. Name the item of apparatus labeled A, so this is beaker. Number 2. The zinc rod is used as a cathode, so this is zinc. And then they ask you to identify the element that is used as the anode. They already mentioned they want electroplate zinc with silver, then anode confirm need to use silver. Number 3, suggest a suitable electrolyte. Since we need to electroplate it with silver, then the electrolyte must have silver, so we can use silver nitrate. Part B. A teacher uses the apparatus in figure 1.2 to make chlorine gas by electrolysis. Chlorine gas is toxic. So part A, they says, describe how the teacher can confirm the chlorine gas come out of the side arm during electrolysis. So first thing, chlorine gas is yellow-green, so we can write these first, and then the confirmation test for chlorine gas is this. Since it's 2 marks, better we write both. Then part 2, state one safety precaution that should be taken due to the formation of chlorine gas in the experiment. They already tell you chlorine gas is toxic. That's why we must do in fume carbide. Just like that. Question number 2. A student investigated the time taken to make 50 cm³ of carbon dioxide gas when solid sodium hydrogen carbonate react with dilute citric acid of different concentration. This is the equation. The student does 5 experiments using the apparatus shown here. First, they use 50 cm³ measuring cylinder to pour 50 cm³ of citric acid. For the first experiment, they put 50 cm³. And then they use 100 cm³ measuring cylinder to pour distilled water of 55 cm³. Then they swirl the flask to mix the content of citric acid and distilled water. And then they set up the apparatus as shown in figure 2.1 to ensure the inverted measuring cylinder is full of water. Then they remove the stopper from the container flask. So this thing removed. Ensure the delivery tube remain in the inverted measuring cylinder. This must fit there. Add 1.5 gram of solid sodium hydrogen carbonate in. Put inside here. Do not mix the content of the flask. Immediately replace the stopper and start the stopwatch. Measure the time taken to collect 50 cm³ of gas in the inverted measuring cylinder. Record the time in seconds to nearest whole number. So we check here until it reached 50 cm³. And then they rinse the conical flask with distilled water. Then they repeat with experiment 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see what changes they made. Experiment 2, repeat experiment 1 using 50 cm³ of distilled water instead of 55. Then reduce to 45, 40, and 30. They only mention distilled water change means that citric acid volume is the same. So can you see it's more and more concentrated because distilled water added in is lesser. Then this is the table. Of course, you need to fill in the information. So they say volume of dilute citric acid for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know everything is the same, 50. And then the volume of distilled water, you already know is 55. And this thing all copy down. And then time to collect 50 cm³ of gas based on the info here. Inside is minutes. So here is 1, 2, 3, 3 minutes. And then here is 25 seconds outside. So they want it in seconds. So make sure you convert these 3 minutes to 180 seconds. Plus this is 205 seconds. And then for here is 2 minutes. Sharp, sharp. Not 0 seconds. So it's 120 seconds. 73, 45, 20. So these are the information. Then they say on figure 2.2, draw a suitable scale on the y-axis and plot the results from experiment 1 to 5. Draw a line of best fit. So the time to collect 50 cm³ gas, maximum is 205. Then we can use 50, 100. So it's just nice can fit in the maximum. Then we can plot. Make sure you use a thin pencil and make it smooth. C. The mean rate of reaction is calculated by this. They say mean rate of reaction is the volume of gas collected. So for all experiment is 50. And then divided by the time taken, they ask you to calculate the mean rate at experiment 3. So the time is 73. So you can know the mean rate of reaction by using calculator, 0.68. 50 is in cm cube and then per second. So it's cm cube per second as unit. Then the next question asks you to use your graph in this figure to deduce the time taken to collect 50 cm cube of gas. Then for part 2, they ask you to use a graph to deduce the time taken if 35 cm cube of water is used. So let's check. When they use 35 cm cube of distilled water, based on your graph, it will be around 25 to 30. So if your graph shown is 30, then your answer is just 30. So the answer here is 30 seconds based on your graph. There's one more question that I need to use back this graph. Let's have a look first. Part F, they say, on the figure 2.2, sketch a graph you would expect when the investigation is repeated using dilute citric acid of different concentration at 50 degrees C. Then we come back here, we know that this is room temperature. So when temperature increases, you expect the rate of reaction is faster so that we will reach 50 cm cube in a shorter time. So that's why the time must be lesser. Anything below it, as long as it do not touch time is 0, then would be okay. And then dimension, you need to label this as F. So we label it as F to represent this is the questions from part F. D. The gas collected in the inverted measuring cylinder contain air from the conical flask. State what effect, if any, the air will have on the accuracy of the result of the investigation. Explain your answer. The effect is no effect. The reason is because the volume of air displaced is the same as the volume of carbon dioxide produced. That's why no difference. Part E. Some gas escape in the short time between adding the solid NaHCO3 to the conical flask and replacing the stopper in the conical flask. Explain how the apparatus can be changed so that no gas escape. You may draw a diagram to help explain your answer. Not compulsory to draw the diagram. You can just tell me you suspend the solid NaHCO3 in the flask and then you tip the flask so that it can drop inside when the stopper is there. So no air can escape. Number 2, state the effect, if any, the gas escaping has on the time taken to collect 50 cm cube of gas. So if gas escaping, the time for you to get 50 cm cube of gas is longer compared to no gas escape. Part F we already did just now. Let's go to question 3, is the salt test. A student has two substances, which is solid A and solution B. We have a look on solid A first. I extract most of the info from the table from back. That's why you can check all these infos at the back of the paper 6. Task 1, they say place about half of the solid in a boiling tube. Heat solid A strongly in boiling tube. It will form solid A. The solid A will turn black. So the solid that will turn black, you should know it is copper oxide. The thing that heat and form copper oxide is actually copper carbonate and form CO2, thermal decomposition. Here you should know it is copper carbonate, but if you do not remember this, it's fine. We can proceed to test 2, test 3, and test 4. They give you sufficient information. Test 2, they say place the remaining solid A in boiling tube. Add 10 cm cube of dilute hydrochloric acid to the boiling tube. And then gas given off and it turns lime water milky. We can confirm it release out CO2. The thing that will release out CO2 when we add acid is confirmed contain carbonate ion. And then this is a solution that forms in solution C is actually a blue solution. So blue solution, we know it is copper 2+, But if you do not remember, it's okay. Test 3 will give you more information on that. They say solution C is divided into 3 approximately equal portions. To the first portion, they add aqueous NaOH dropwise and is excess. So we refer back to the NaOH table. They will form blue precipitate and remain in excess. So we can confirm this is copper 2+. The information that you can find from table is this and this. Even though you already forgot part 1, test 1, and part 2, the blue solution, you should know it's copper carbonate based on test 2 and test 3, the info that you can get at the back. Then we go for test 4. To the second portion of C, add 1 cm³ of dilute nitric acid followed by few drops of barium nitrate. We can check back. The only test that use this combo is to test the presence of sulfate ion, and the positive test result is white precipitate will form. But here it says no visible change, so we can confirm no sulfate ion here. Then we can start do here. Part A, it says identify gas given off in test 2 that will change lime water milky. We can confirm it's carbon dioxide. And then part B, state the conclusion about solid A that can be made from the observation in test 4. No visible change when they add this, so no sulfate ion. Part C, identify solid A. We already know it is copper carbonate. If you write in words, make sure you write copper 2 carbonate. Or here you can also write CuCO3. D, to the third portion of solution C, the student add excess aqueous ammonia. So we refer back to aqueous ammonia formula. We already know it contains copper 2. So we just copy here. Light blue precipitate form and soluble in excess, giving a dark blue solution. So solid A test done. We go to test on solution B. Solution B, they already tell you is barium chloride. They say the student divides solution B into 3 equal portions, record the expected observations. The students carry out a flame test on the first portion of solution B. State the type of Bunsen burner flame that students should use when carrying out a flame test. This question they always ask, you should know it is a blue flame. Part 2, state the results of the flame test on solution B. They already tell you it's barium. So barium will give you light green flame under flame test. F, to the second portion of solution B, the student adds about 1 cm³ of dilute nitric acid followed by a few drops of aqueous silver nitrate. So we can confirm this is a test for chloride. And here we have chloride ion. So you see white precipitate. We go to G, to the third portion of solution B, which is barium chloride. The students add 1 cm³ of dilute sulfuric acid. So when they do reaction, what will form? Barium sulfide will form. Then you should know barium sulfide is white precipitate. So that's why you need to tell me the observation is white precipitate form. We go to question 4, which is planning of experiment. This question says hydrated chromium nitrate is a salt which is soluble in water. Hydrated chromium nitrate is made by reacting insoluble base with dilute hydrochloric acid. So it's a neutralization to form a soluble salt and water. Chromium 3 oxides react very slowly with dilute nitric acid at room temperature. Describe how to make pure dry crystal of hydrated chromium nitrate. So you are provided with chromium 3 oxides, dilute nitric acid, and common lab apparatus. So we know initially we need to put acid here, dilute nitric acid, we feed in here first. And then we add insoluble base and make sure it's in excess. Then we need to heat it and stir and mix the solution. And then we need to filter because we are putting excess insoluble chromium oxides. So let the chromium oxides here. And then the filtrate will be our soluble hydrated chromium 3 nitrate. And then we heat the filtrate until it forms crystals and then dry it using filter paper. Then we just dry it inwards. Just like that, then we successfully get the pure dry crystals of hydrated chromium trinitrate. So this is the end of the paper. I hope you learned something and all the best to your exam. See you in the next class. Bye bye.